Hey everybody, this is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio. Welcome back. And this week we're going to be doing, drum roll please, I'm going to go back into images and I want to look for other Christmas images. So I'm going to look for Christmas stocking. Or actually, let's go back under holidays and Christmas and then do stocking. Okay, that's a nice shape. Could work with that. Or actually, it's the same as this one. So let's just get rid of that. I kind of like the concept of this, but I don't like that the heel part's so undercut there. This is more of a traditional shape, which would certainly work. Okay, I like this one. I'm not sure it'll work, so we'll keep on looking. But that's the one I'm shooting for. This isn't bad. And that's pretty traditional too. Okay, we have enough now. So we're going to add those to our canvas. And it might take a second because I selected a few. And I like to, this is just, you don't have to do this. I just like to center everything and then pull it up into the corner out of the way. And then I can just grab one at a time. So I like to take a look and see just how many pieces there are to this. So there's not one big base piece. Like, I don't know if I can explain it very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the whole thing. And then I'm going to just combine it into one piece. All right, that will work. So I'm going to duplicate this now. I'm going to do it 3 more times, and I'll show you why. So this one I'm going to take, and I'm going to flip vertically, and then we'll line those up. And then these I'm going to take, let me get this, I'm trying to make myself some room here. This I'm going to take and flip horizontally. So you can have your card open either way. We're going to work on this one in a second because we're going to have to change our angles a little bit. So let's just push this up here out of the way and I'll group it for now. And then we're going to pull this one down over here. And while it's all highlighted, we're going to align it to the left or again the right. Either one will work. You just want to make sure that your edges are lined up. And I think I kind of like that fold line right where it is. So while it's all highlighted again, I'm going to do combine and weld. And now we've got one piece. So now, if you remember, we're going to need to get our score line, which is this very first one. And again, we need to rotate it. So I like to do the 90-degree rotate, but we will do it this other way where you hold, I believe it's the shift key. When you get your little double arrow, then you can turn it that way. That to me is a little bit more difficult. Not that it's difficult, it's just a little more difficult. But those are your two options for that. So that looks pretty good. So we're going to select all of that and we're going to center. And then that we can shrink this down a little bit more. Oh, I see why it did that. Okay, we're just going to come back over because center isn't really center exactly since the shapes aren't quite symmetrical. Is that the word I want? So let's see. I'm going to make one more copy of this. And we'll put it down here. Somewhere down here. That's probably as good a place as any. And I'm going to duplicate that one more time just to save myself the trouble. Except up here, I'm actually going to want it to go the other way. So I'm just going to delete it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and attach those score lines to the Christmas stocking. And then we're going to bring this back to the front, which I always forget to do. And you can lay that on there. Now you can make these whatever color you want. The green's a little odd to me. So let's make that green white, just because I think that that's more traditional. Yeah. And then we can group all that together if we didn't already. Yep, there we go. So there's one easel card Christmas stocking. And if you don't want it to be an easel card, you can just take out this score line here. Let's see. Well, I have to ungroup it again. But if you don't want it to be an easel card, just remove this score line. And then it's just a top fold card. I mean, it's that simple. Now the other thing you could do, which I didn't, I'll do it on this other one here. You could duplicate the white parts on this, turn them into score lines, attach them to the boot. If the boot were one solid piece anyway. It's not, but yeah, alright, never mind. Ignore the man behind the curtain. I like to use that a lot. That's from Wizard of Oz. Alright, so I'm going to ungroup these. We're gonna work on this center fold card now instead of top fold or side fold card, whichever you want to call it. And I'm going to rotate it 15 degrees. I'm not sure. I'm kind of just guessing here. That's a little bit further than I needed to go, so let's try 10. And if we do this one 350, so basically I'm just taking 360 and subtracting the 10, and I'm still not quite right. No, I'm not. Let's do 355 and 5. There we go. That's not bad. It's not exact, but it'll work. Okay, so this time we're going to align top or bottom. So there's top and there's bottom. Either one will work. And we're going to combine and then weld. Now we need a score line again. So we're going to go back over to shapes and we're going to grab our score line. And this time we don't have to rotate it because we want it going north and south or up and down. Just going to pull it. Don't need it to be quite so long. And then we're going to select everything. And we're going to center. And I just want to make sure that we get that score all the way to the top of the card. Alright, so now we're going to select it all again and we're going to, well, it should let us attach. Why didn't, there we go. Alright, so here's your side fold card, and then forgot to do that. Let's duplicate this part. And then here's your front layering pieces. So now at this point you have a couple of options. You don't have to cut the heart out if you don't want to put on top of there, since it's, or because you've got, well, you don't though, because this piece, let me show you what I'm talking about. This isn't the whole boot, or the whole sock, I mean. See, the heel and the toe are missing as well as the cuff. If it were all one piece, you would be able to cut the heart out of the heel part, and then it would eliminate one of the pieces, is what I'm trying to say. But the way they've done it, that doesn't really work. So we'll just Just pretend I didn't say any of that. All right, let's just group that all together. Sorry, I tend to come up with solutions and as I work. Now this one, let's see what we've got here. So this one, this little loop here, is a part of the base image. So let me ungroup this for a second, except I hit the wrong button. So let me try that again. So, oh, no, it is a separate piece. Okay, so Control Z and Control Z, so it's all grouped together again. Now let me think about this for a second. I'm going to scroll down here to give us some more space to work. So I think what I'm going to do on this one is I am going to ungroup it again. And then I'm going to remove this. And to do that, I have to slice it out of there. So let's grab a shape. And I like to use circles or squares, but you can use whatever you want. I'm just going to place it over that loop. And I'm going to select the red and that circle, and I'm going to slice. And what that's done is it's gotten rid of that loop altogether. So now if I can line this back up the way it goes, I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to enlarge this so that I can see better. Okay. And I'm going to duplicate that, and then I'm going to weld it. Except it looks like I didn't get it close enough. Yeah, you can see that line through there. So let's try that again. Delete that one. Go back into here. And let's just get it a little bit closer. And now let's duplicate it and weld it. And well, that'll work, because I get rid of those score lines there. So let's shrink her back down a little bit. Oops. Did I not duplicate it first? I didn't. Good heavens. Okay. Duplicate. There we go. There's our duplicate. And then I'm going to weld it. And then I'm going to take those contours out of there. Oops. There we go. Got rid of all those contours, those little bitty cuts that were left over. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to flip that vertically, and we're just going to get these lined up on the right. That looks like a pretty good place to fold, so I'm going to combine and weld from there, and then we're going to grab another score line, and we're going to bring it over, and once again we're going to rotate it 90 degrees and bring it in. And we want to center it vertically. Yeah. Okay. So now you can, I'm just going to do this as a regular top fold card. I'm not going to do this one as an easel card, even though you could by adding another fold, but you'd probably want to straighten it up so it's not so angled if you were going to do that. So we're going to attach that. And then we'll have this, once I bring it to the front, to put on the top. And let's shrink this down a little bit. So there you go. And I think what I'll probably do is put some kind of a little loop or a hole punch in here, and put a little loop. So if somebody wanted to hang it on their Christmas tree, they could. You can make it smaller and just make it a Christmas ornament if you wanted to. That's strictly up to you. Easy enough to do. So it is way too tall though. Well, by the time you folded it in half, it's actually not. Did I do that one wrong? Makes me wonder. I'd have to resize these, it looks like. But anyway, let's group that all together. So that's kind of how you go about taking the shapes that are already in Design Space, shapes and images, and creating your own shaped cards. So they're not the standard rectangular card or round card or whatever. And you know, there's a lot of options. Like this is really cute, but we've already done a couple, so I think we're good for now. You do want to always remember to save your work, and the save early, save often, as my husband likes to say. So ECS is what I start everything with for Expressions Craft Studio, and this is going to be Christmas stocking cards, and it's just, well, we'll call this a fun fold, I guess. And save. And if you wanted your stocking to go the other way, you could always flip it horizontally. Be like that, the toe facing in that direction better. Yeah, there's your options. So I'm going to get busy and start cutting out some stuff and putting it together for week 16. I'll probably go back to the bells and start with those. And I don't think anybody wants to watch me cut stuff out. That's a pretty boring part of the process. So I'll get back, start this up again once I start putting things together, and you can kind of see what we've come up with. So stay tuned. Alright, so I have gone ahead and cut everything out with the Cricut, and I just kind of wanted to show you what we've got here. So these are similar, but one's a top fold and one's a side fold. So I haven't glued anything down yet. The side fold will open like this. I used a really thin cardstock. I should have used something a little thicker, but I wasn't sure how well it was going to stand up, and it will stand up on its own, at least so far. That may change when it gets everything glued on, but I've cut out the pieces. I wanted to show you a couple of different things here. I did use a glittery cardstock there, just out of my scraps. I did go ahead and cut this piece out with the heart in the heel, and I ended up moving that heart over to this one, because what I did was instead of having this all the white be one piece and then the red of the sock be only what you see, I just made it all one piece and then cut these out separately. I hope that makes sense. If you look at the file, you'll see what I did. So then I just took that little heart and moved it over here. I may or may not use it. So this one is the top fold, and it was actually going to be an easel card, and you can still kind of see the score line through there, maybe not. But when I kind of propped it up like that, I decided I didn't really like the way it looked, so I'm just going to use it as a top fold card. But you could do it as an easel card if you wanted to. So this one also will stand up on its own, or at least it does right now. And then, of course, we've got all our pieces cut out here, put together. And then this one is also a top fold card, but I only did it in the very corner here. And because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch a hole and actually put a little bit of ribbon or string or something through there like a normal stocking, so it has a little hanger. But this one, I did not merge everything into one big piece. I left them all separate pieces just so you could see that that's what that looks like. It does use a little less cardstock this way, but your piecing everything together needs to be a little bit more precise when you do that. So, you know, that's just a personal choice. You can do it however you want to do it. So anyway, we're going to start gluing everything together here. Oh, I think my pen is glued into my, oh, here we go. Add a little bit before I get started. All right, so I'm going to start with this one. And I'm just going to put some glue here on the back. You know, I think I decided actually that I wanted to glue the cuff down first just because it would be easier. There's more pieces to line up on the cuff just because of the way it's shaped. So I thought that I actually would start with that. So that's what I'm going to do. So a little change of plans there. So once again, I'm behind in my videos because we've been having, I don't want to say technical issues necessarily, but trying to get the sound issues resolved, and because of that, we've had technical issues. But yesterday we made a breakthrough, my husband and I, and he's definitely the more techie of the two of us, but he retired 2 years ago, so he's a little rusty, we'll say. And I got out of the tech industry years and years ago. So I'm extremely rusty, but in the end it took both of us to figure out what we were doing wrong. So it just reaffirmed what I've known for a long time, that we are a good team. Alright, so now we're going to glue this one down. So when I say we're a good team, we will be celebrating our 40th anniversary in June. So next month, actually. We'd hoped to take a cruise this year, but with the economy being what it is and COVID still kind of being an issue, and then we have a cat who's rather spoiled and demanding, so leaving her alone isn't really an option. So, whoops, my tweezers. So I don't know, oh my goodness, I got the drops. I don't know what we'll end up doing for our 40th anniversary. Probably nothing big or special, but it is our 40th. Oh, okay, that is really cute. You can't really see it from that angle, but I see that now. I may or may not add that little heart. I'm just going to lay it on there for right now. It is cute, but I don't know if I really want it. So I think before I glue that on there, I'm going to glue on here. Now these all three did end up being different sizes, which kind of makes sense because this one's a completely different shape, but even these two ended up being different sizes. And that is something, of course, that you can always adjust in your file if you want to make your cards bigger, or if you want to make them smaller so that they could actually be like little gift tags. That would actually be really cute. And you could even have the Cricut, if you don't have a stamp to do it, or a label or whatever you want to use, to write out to and from, and those would actually be really cute as gift tags. Just an afterthought. I hadn't thought of that while I was making them, but and then if you put, you know, the name on them, I mean, if you do it right, they could even be ornaments for the following year. that up very well. So this is where, if I had done it, which I didn't, had put my score lines on there, it would help me line that up, just because there's not a lot to kind of assist with that. So I'll put the toe on. Now, I did have another thought while I was cutting these out that would be really cute if you were so inclined, and that would be to actually go run these through your sewing machine and do the little stitching on it, like these types of socks. Usually you can see the stitching. I did think that would be really cute. I'm not going to do it. I don't have all of my sewing supplies unpacked from when we moved in 2 years ago. I just don't have room for everything. So I don't even know where all of my threads are. They're still in a box somewhere. But that would be really cute. Now, you could also do that with a pen if you feel like you can draw good enough zigzag, or some other kind of like blanket stitch would be pretty easy. Or even just, straight stitching. The other thing is, I do know there are stamps that you could do that with that look like stitching. You would have to curve them. The ones that I have are straight, but that would also be super cute. So, just something to help doll it up, or spice it up, or bling it up, whatever. Now we're going to attach. All right, that fits pretty good. Get ourselves some glue. So again, I'm making these for 2 separate groups, Cards for Soldiers and the Angel Card Project. Cards for Soldiers kind of is self-descriptive. They are cards that are sent over seas to our soldiers so that they can send them back to their loved ones. And the Angel Card Project does cards for, just people who need a little extra Christmas cheer. Maybe they're shut-ins, maybe they're disabled, maybe they're in nursing homes, or elderly, or they've just lost a loved one. There's all kinds of reasons people request cards, and you can pick and choose who you want to send them to. These ones actually would have to go to the Angel Card Project because you can't send glitter to the Cards for Soldiers. But otherwise, I mean, you wouldn't have to use glitter. You could use a different paper. In fact, I was going to use a pearl paper, but then I found the glitter paper in my scraps, and I thought, oh, well, I'll just use that up. I still didn't use it all up. I still have several pieces, but it's a start. You got to start somewhere, right? These are just kind of hard to line up because there's not a lot of points where you can kind of pinch them into place. Everything's rounded, but it does work eventually. I try not to touch it too much because I don't want glue all over, not glue, but glitter. So back to this piece, the heel. Without smearing glue everywhere. Pretty good. Hold that back. Right. Harder because there's just I should put the score lines on there. That would make it easier. So we glue that on there. We did. Glue this one on here. You can see I didn't get that lined up very well from the back. I may have even had it upside down. I don't think so, but yeah. So pretty good. Oh, you know what I meant to do and I forgot. I actually meant to put a couple of these in an embossing folder. I completely forgot about it. Well, in that case, what I might do is find a stamp or two that I can stamp and then emboss, or heat emboss instead of dry emboss. Let's think about this for a second. I really wanted to emboss those. Glue bottle. All right. Well, let me take a minute to think about this, and then I will pop right back on here and see what we've decided to do. All right, I kind of played around with my layouts a little bit, and what I decided was since I'd already glued everything down, I wasn't going to try to stamp and emboss just because I didn't want to mess it up, or that I wasn't just going to try to stamp on it for that reason, period. So I went through my stash and I found some things that I think are going to work. I found the last of my white snowflakes, so I'll have to cut some more, but fortunately I do have some more scraps of pearl white as well as the glitter white, so I think that's what I'll do later today. And I've decided not to use the heart. I went through my sentiments book, which is an old calendar, or is that what it is? A calendar, but anyway, planner. That's the word I wanted. And went to my Christmas section and found some stuff that'll work. So I'm going to use those. And I also found this little deer that I had left over from one of my other previous projects. So we're just going to glue everything down and finish these up. Here, I used the toothbrush just to get rid of the little hairs, the little extra little fibers that are sometimes found on the die cuts. Use my tweezers to help hold on to these smaller, finer pieces because I don't have the best fine motor skills anymore. I'll probably put way too much on there. Oh yeah, I can see it through the hole in the snowflake, but that's all right. I try not to put them straight up and down, even though that's my inclination. Here's good. I don't remember exactly where we had him, but I don't think it matters. Glue everywhere. Okay, I'll put some dimensionals on that and pop that up a little bit. So I'm just going to finish gluing down these snowflakes and then we'll be right back. Okay, the snowflakes are glued down. Got my dimensionals on. My dimensionals are on my sentiments. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to them too, just because they're going onto a glittery card base, and I want to make sure that they don't come off. Now you could even put a name up here if you wanted to. I mean, there's all kinds of options. Got that straight, and it's not. That's the other good thing about the glue. It does allow you to slide it just ever so slightly. Again, I just pulled these off from my stash. Get better. So there we go. It stands up. That one stands up. And there's room in the side for you to stamp a sentiment or write a sentiment. I'll add my name and decorative stuff to the back like I like to do. And for this one, let's see, I don't need this anymore. I needed my, what is this called? The jewel picker. I needed that for these. My tweezers weren't fine enough for that. Glue to dry and then maybe clean that off. So I need to punch a little hole up here, and what I thought I'd do is I would just hang this through the same hole. So I'm going to punch, which, oh, there it is. Alright, I punched my hole. This is just a little cheap hole punch from Walmart. I don't even know what size it is. And I found my string. I have other gold string, but this was the first one I came across. My mother was primarily a crocheter, but she did do knitting as well. And she left me a lot of supplies. I don't even know how much of this I need. I'm just cutting some off. It's got a really, I don't think you'll be able to see it, a really fine gold thread through there. So it's kind of pretty. And I felt like it matched the tag pretty well. So I'm going to do this in 4s, just because it's a little bit more substantial. And I will put a knot up here, or attempt to. Normally I would just loop it through in a different manner, but I want them to be able to potentially hang it up. If they want to. I should have cut it a little bit longer, I guess. Try to keep them all together, but not so close together that I can't not. Okay, you know what? Let's put this through here. small thumbs apparently. I am sure that there is an easier way to do this than the way I'm doing it. But since I don't know what that is at the moment, continue on. I mean, I want to put it in my teeth and bite it, but I know a lot of people won't like that, so. And I get why. So that's why I haven't. But the 10-year-old in me really wants to do it that way. Okay. So I think I probably need a little bit of glue down in there just to keep that from coming undone. Pull on that for a second and see if we can get it to dry. Just need to try it over here. Chocolate. Okay. Alright, so anyway, there we have it. So it is possible to hang it up if they choose, or to just stand it up. Get rid of all of my trash here, because I do like a tidy workspace. Pin back in my glue. Alright, so I think this one's really cute with the Merry Christmas hanging off of the tag. And probably should have flipped it around and, well, it wouldn't have worked the other way. Anyway, so here they are. I have to get my glue eraser out and erase some of the dried glue. But this one still opens up, has plenty of room to open up actually to write in. And it stands up, as does this one. And this one. So, this one I can't really show you very well, but it's more of an angle, but they all stand up nicely. So that is the Christmas stocking, our Christmas stocking cards for whatever week we're in. Might be 17, but I don't know. Anyway, again, I will share the file in the Facebook group, Expressions Craft Studio. It's free to join the group. It gives you access to the file. Eventually, I plan to put some digital art out there. I haven't gotten around to that yet. It's hard to do the maintenance portion, all this background work, and once you're crafty. And I don't think to do it while I'm crafting, so then I have to go back and recreate stuff. So bear with me. I'm doing my best. And feel free to send me a reminder if I say I'll do something and I forget, because that is a big thing. Now I forget a lot. And I didn't used to forget anything. So I'm going to save this little heart and I'll use it on something else. And finish putting my, like I said, my stickers on the back. And these are ready to be added to our pile of Christmas cards for Project Christmas Cheer 2023. And yeah, I think that's all I got. So thank y'all for joining me. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any critique, I'm open to it. You know, you can be kind about it, but I'm open to hearing it. I'm relatively new to this, and I'm not nearly as polished as a lot of the people out there who are making a living at it. But I do want to get better. I hope to get better each and every time a little bit. So hearing what you all like helps me know where I can improve. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to finish putting my stickers on the back and stamping some kind of sentiment on the inside. And I'm going to call this project done. So thank you all again for joining me. I really appreciate it. And until next time, happy crafting.